This is Jody Lester, or JL, and you're on Elevated Living at elevateme.org. And this is the Daily Lift. We are continuing our strategic planning series, and today we're going to talk about time frames. Now, if you've been following the strategic planning, either for personal growth, for personal development or professional development, or for your organization that you have, then you know that time frames were going to be a major part of this. Because with anything that we plan, there must be measurement. And as one of my mentors says, what gets measured gets done. So of course we're going to take the time out to plan. We want it to get done. Now, it's not always about, getting it done. It's about the journey and growing in between, which is why time frames are so important. Now, there are 3 key points about time frames I want you to keep in mind. Time frames need to be realistic. They need to be cyclical, and they need to be systematic. And what I mean by realistic is that there are certain aspects of your plan that you're not going to be looking at necessarily to modify every day. You may want to put that for the cycle of looking at it on a quarterly, biannually, or an annual basis. But your time frames, especially when you get down to the tight time frames of your objectives and your action steps, needs to be realistic. There are certain objectives that we know need to have action steps that call us to do things maybe on a daily basis, or a weekly basis, or a monthly basis. And you need to be realistic with yourself. If doing them daily is not working for you, you may need to do it every other day. You may need to do it Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Pick time frames that are going to match where you are in your development, and that are going to be easy for you to achieve. Because if you've never done some of these action steps to get to where you're going, and you put it on your plate to do every day, you might set yourself up for failure, and then you're just not going to accomplish that objective at all. And then you're going to feel bad. And we don't want that. We want you to feel good about planning and feel good about accomplishing these results. Because again, you need to be results oriented. So your time frames need to be realistic. And that means really keeping in mind who you are and where you are in your professional or your developmental growth, or where your organization is in its development. Now, when we're talking about making a plan cyclical, that speaks to our review patterns, making sure that it's on a cycle of review. And that can be quarterly, that can be every 6 months, that can be every year. There are certain things that you should probably do on an annual basis, like your needs assessment or your SWOT analysis. Especially if you're an organization, those things need to be done on a cycle so that you can measure your growth. Now, when we're saying a system, that is a little bit more of a frequency issue. And when we're talking about our personal plans or our professional development plans, you're talking about making sure that if you're going to be looking at your goals on a daily basis, that you have a system in place for doing that. So you may say, okay, when I get up in the morning, I'm going to have a specific routine, and include in that when you're going to look at your goals, when you're going to look at your plan, your mission, your vision, your purpose. That keeps you on track, having a system for looking at these goals and objectives and action steps. So you might do it like, okay, well, Fridays I'm going to sit down with a cup of coffee or tea or a glass of wine or whatever. If you're an adult, I'm going to sit down and look at my goals, and I'm going to go through some of my objectives and action steps and see what I've accomplished for the week, and modify some things and make sure it's authentic to me. And if I need to tweak it here or there, that's the time I'm going to take out. So make sure that your goals are measurable. You have a cycle for reviewing specific components of your plan, and that you have a system for keeping your goals fresh in your mind, keeping them close to you so that you're always moving forward. So again, time frames are an integral part of strategic planning. Make sure you set them in a realistic schedule. This is JL, and you are on Elevated Living at elevateme.org. This has been your Daily Lift, and until we next connect, I'm wishing you the very best of life.